welcome guest speaker. Eman is always here. I just tease her. And she's going to be talking to us about a very important topic. Before I start, it's up there anyway, gluttony. Before we start, how many of us are fasting? I'm going to, just between you and yourself, you don't have to raise hands. How many of us are not fasting? Don't raise hands. It's just for between you and yourself. The reason why I'm asking is a lot of us struggle with the concept of fasting. And this concept of fasting was not invented by the church. Do you know when was the very first fast? Jesus, Daniel, where? Moses? Yeah, Moses did fast, yeah. Who else? Jonah was after Moses, but okay. Moses was before Jonah. Wasn't there any fast at all before that? Come on, guys, think Bible. Sorry? Adam and Eve. How? Fasting from the tree, amazing. That was actually the first commandment of fasting. When God told Adam and Eve, you can eat of all the trees in the garden, except one. The tree of knowing good and evil. That one you cannot come near. And anything else you can eat. So he's asked them, fast from this. And God was introducing the concept of fasting from the very beginning. And why was it so important? Because fasting is not only about food. Fasting is about stopping yourself from doing anything that is ungodly. And that is what God wanted to embed, because when God created us, he created us with something very important called free will. And he was asking us, use your free will wisely. And to know how to use your free will wisely, you will have to make decisions. One of them is not to do something. And not doing something is also not eating something. And that was the very first introduction of fasting. Do you know where the tree of the knowledge of good and evil was in the Garden of Eden? Was it in the middle? It was not in the middle. It was in the very far corner, way on its own. The only one that was in the middle was the tree of life. But the knowledge of good and evil was very at the outskirts of the tree. That's how the serpent came in, because it was not like there. There was the serpent, but how the devil entered the serpent through that was way at the back. So actually, even when God created this and gave them the commandment, it was a very easy commandment. Do not go to that tree all the way over there. There are thousands of other trees that you can eat from, except that tree. And yet, we chose through Eve and then Adam to go and eat. And gluttony has been a problem from that moment, where we preferred to satisfy ourselves more than adhering to God and being with God. And this I will hand over, and with this I will hand over to our wonderful Eman, who's going to tell us what to do with gluttony and how to overcome it. Eman.
Guys, we're quite a little group, so can I ask that we just let's sit together. If anybody comes in late, they can just join us later, but we can make it a bit more intimate. Come. Liam, come. Oh, that's better. Okay, so for those of you that don't know me, yes, my name is Eman. And I was telling some of the guys earlier that I only said yes to this talk because it was a bit of a challenge. So, And I'll tell you why in a minute. But, oh, you found the clicker. You want to take the mouse? Okay, so, yeah, I thought this was, I don't know, if you were asked to talk about gluttony for like more than 10 minutes, would you have anything to say? So it's like a challenge. So gluttony in the dictionary, excess in eating or drinking, greedy or excessive indulgence, and a situation in which people eat and drink more than they need to. And I've kind of put in bold the words that I want us to concentrate on today. So excess, indulgence, and more than we need. So those are the three things. Now, you will now find out why this was a challenge for me. I love food. I really love food. Yes, John was saying earlier, he was glad. Yes, I really like food. I enjoy food very much. I count down the days when we're fasting to the feasting. So yes, so this is something that I think would be good for me to learn. I may not be gluttonous, but I do like my food. So I want us to have a look at the difference between greed and gluttony, because these are two different sins. Does anybody know the difference? Greed and gluttony. Just take a guess. Go on, John.
Gluttony is related to food, but greed not necessarily food.
Okay, so gluttony to food, greed to anything else, John?
So greed is more so keeping everything to yourself, and then gluttony is having more than you need, as opposed to, just keeping it all to yourself.
We had a couple of answers, but greed is excessive desire to have things. Like, I've got to gain material possessions, I've got to gain wealth. And it's about, like John said, it's for me. It's all mine. It's all mine. I'm not sharing it with you. I'm not sharing it with anybody. It's mine. Whereas gluttony, overindulgence, it's a little bit different. It mostly is around food, but not necessarily completely, which we'll look at. But it is overindulgence. So it's not necessarily that this is mine. It's just more and more. And I'm going to keep indulging in it. And then there's this other thing, which is about excess and waste. Waste for pleasure. So I had the first picture, which is this one. And you kind of think of the Middle Ages or whatever, and the guys, like King Henry VIII, and sitting down with loads of food. I don't know if you've ever watched any cooking shows about the history, but they used to have, I can't remember what it's called, like 3 birds in one. Like a pigeon and give me another bird that people eat, I don't know, a goose and a chicken, all in one. Like you'd cook them all in one big dish, and it was the sumptuousness. That is indulgence. And waste. Okay, so gluttony comes from the Latin to gulp. So to swallow, to gulp down. So it is mainly food. And I just thought I'd stick a verse in there from the beginning. Woe to you who are full, for you shall hunger. John, I know you're full. There are a lot of food verses, food and fasting. It's not something that is ignored in the Bible. Okay, food is a big part of life. Adam and Eve, what did they physically do? They ate. Okay, the very first act of using their free will, if you want to put it that way, is involved with food. It was eating. So, I want to go to this. Oh, it didn't bring them back. Okay, sorry, that's supposed to say, what's wrong with food? What is wrong with food? Anything wrong with food? No? Nothing wrong with food? Okay, talk's over. There's nothing wrong. So nothing's wrong with food. So why is gluttony such an issue? Why is it a sin, as people call it?
If you like food, there's a chance that you might be addicted to it. Like, for example, if you went to McDonald's, for example, sometimes they put stuff in it that makes you want to keep coming. So you just keep eating, and then eventually, like, it affects your health in a way which, like, is quite addictive, I think.
Yeah, no, I think that's a brilliant answer. Brilliant answer. So the addiction and also the unhealthiness of it, like it actually hurts our bodies.
Because sin is basically a lack of love and self-centeredness. So if you're overindulging in food, it's kind of indicative that you're more, well, it's indicative practically, you're more concerned with feeding yourself and loving yourself more than sharing with your neighbor. I think it was, is it John Chrysostom that said that, he talked about clothes, he said that if you own 2 jackets, you're stealing from the poor. So it's a similar thing with food. If you're overindulging, you're stealing from those who have nothing.
And that kind of comes to that first picture as well, because it was the overindulgence, so he wasn't thinking of the poor in the land.
I think it can become something we rely on. So as a result, if we rely on it too much, we may, like money, for example, we can begin to idolize it, and that's what can lead into sin when it comes to food, I think.
Brilliant answers, guys. So a lot of what I thought of as well. We will come to that. We'll come to a lot of what you guys have said. So thinking of yourself, idolizing. I didn't go with addiction, but the unhealthy, yes. But there are food addictions, 100%. So I wanted to look at a couple of verses in the Bible. You will need your Bibles a little bit, so if you want to just get the app out of your phones, I'm sure you've all got the app. Actually, can I get other people to read? Nabil, can you read the first one?
The son of ours is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard.
Oh, nice, right? So glutton here, is it in a positive light? No. Okay, do you mind reading?
Do not join those who drink too much wine or gorge themselves on meat, for drunkenness and gluttony become poor, and drowsiness clothes them in rags.
Okay. Have you heard these verses before? So I love the one in Proverbs. Did you ever know that in the Bible it says you can gorge yourself on too much meat? So in the Old and the New Testament, gluttony was seen as the gateway. Like if you start doing this, then you're going to start living a reckless life, and you're going to go on to do other things. You're going to drink too much. You're not just going to eat too much. You're going to eat too much. You're going to drink too much, and it moves you on to like other things in life. So like now, we would say if you start... Sorry, all I can think of is quite bad examples, but like let's say you start vaping or whatever, or you start on this drug, then you might go on to this drug, and then this drug, and then that drug, and whatever else, and then, eventually you're, whatever, sorry, I've just had training course on drugs for teenagers, so, there's a lot of addictions out there, and a lot of things that will lead, according to the Bible, to a riotous, reckless lifestyle. Why does it say drunkards and gluttons become poor? Why do you think?
Is it because if you kind of misuse your resources? So like one thing about Proverbs, it talks about the fruits of wisdom and being a good steward of the blessings that God has given you, and when you have, and to whom much is given, much is expected. So if you soon become poor, it basically is a mismanagement of the things that you've been given. And because you've been addicted as well, you're not in control of your own body as well.
So that's the drowsiness as well coming into that. So yes, so becoming poor, I keep thinking of days at uni and students that go, I have no money, and then they go out to the union and spend some money to drink, and then they complain at the end of the week that they've got no money for food. But also the drowsiness. So when you get drunk or you eat too much, how many of you eaten too much and then you just kind of fall asleep? Yeah, you're all smiling. Okay. So this is one of the things that I found in the Bible. And it was a real insult. In fact, the Pharisees actually called Jesus a glutton in the New Testament as an insult. Like, you hang out with these people, you are a glutton. It was a real big thing, like to be called a glutton. So, self-control. I'm going to go through the negative stuff first before we look at maybe ways of how we get over this. I'm going to read out the first one, and you tell me if you disagree. If you can't control and constantly indulge your appetite, maybe you've lost control in some areas of your life too, or some other areas. Agree? Disagree? Agree? Agree? You can disagree. I'm not an authoritarian. But would that make sense? So that self-control, if you can't control this one thing, which is your appetite, if you can't say, actually, I'm just going to stop there, could it be that you can't control other things? And I think this is something that we need to ask ourselves more than once. Like every few months when we're doing a little bit of self-reflection, we ask ourselves again and again and again. I do think that this is really important to think of and to we're really good at giving ourselves excuses. I'm really good at giving myself excuses. I'm the queen of excuses. If you want any excuse, I got it. And there are some things that we can't excuse. And there are some things that we shouldn't excuse. And this is one of them, where we need to practice some self-control. I can see in this room the ones that have self-control in the gym and with their exercising, and ones that don't have any self-control in the gym. Don't go to the gym. Right. Second one. If we're unable to control what goes into our mouths, this might be a bit more controversial, then we won't be able to control what's coming out of our mouths. What do you think of that? Maybe. So it could be language, it could be words. Thank you, Jessie. Okay.
Sorry, I just kind of disagree with that because I know some people who can control what they consume in terms of food, physically, but they are very hot-headed and they can't control what comes out of their mouths.
I agree with that totally. So that's they can't control whether the other one is there or not. I think if we do it backwards, but if you can't control what you eat, so only think of those people that you know that can't control what they eat, can they control how they speak? And I love the way you said it's hot-headedness. It's not just swearing or bad language. I mean everything that comes out, all the negative stuff that comes out. But again, just have a think about that. And then also, which is why I've got that picture of the guy on the brain, if we're not able to control what's going into our mouths, are we able to control what's going into our brains? This is the simple one, right? But are we able then to control what we're consuming here? What we're consuming here, not just here. And this is kind of what I want to get to. So, do I want to go to the next? Okay, I will. No, I'll come back to this later. So I want to tell you a little story. So there's a Nigerian writer who just writes fiction. And he's got a wonderful book. And this is a little story in the book. And it's called The Man with No Stomach. So this is a mum who tells her son this story because they have no food in the house. So he tells her mum this story. Does anybody want to read it? Anybody want to read it? Thanks, Jesse.
There was a man without a stomach. Every year he used to worship at a great shrine. One day he met a stomach without a body. The stomach said, "I have been looking for you. What are you doing without me?" And then the stomach jumped on the man and became part of him. The man carried on with his journey to the shrine. But before he got there, he became very hungry. The stomach said, "Feed me." "I will not," said the man. When I didn't have you, I traveled far, was never hungry, was always happy and contented. And I was strong. You can either leave me now or be quiet.
I love this story. It's really simple, but who's boss? And I love the fact that actually it's quite true. When you're traveling, you get hungry. This wins. You don't always have contentment. You don't always have happiness. And I always think in this, every fast that we have, I remember this story in my head. It is important to learn how to control our stomachs and our mouths because it controls so much of the rest of our lives. So I want to look at the rest of our lives now. So we were talking about the mind earlier. And gluttony basically is excess. Maria prayed at the beginning of the meeting about being excessive. So I've got it here, unrestrained overconsumption. So a lack of self-control. Self-control is one of the fruits of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace, patience, self-control. So we're actually going against one of the fruits of the Spirit. Unrestrained. Okay? When you're gluttonous, you are not stopping yourself. There's no restraint at all. It's just gulping down, as the Latin says. But also, what about drinking to excess? We looked at how in the Bible, gluttony and drunkenness is really similar. So they're put together as one thing, eating and drinking, eating and drinking, eating and drinking. The Bible doesn't say that alcohol is bad for you, that food is bad for you, but it's the excessive amount. And then I was thinking, we call binge eating, comfort eating, and then we've got binge watching. How many of you binge watch? Which channel? Like Netflix or what? Or
Chernobyl.
Who?
Chernobyl.
I haven't even heard of that one.
You ever seen it? It's fantastic.
It's really good. What do you guys binge watch? I can tell you hundreds of things that I've binge watched, but YouTube binge watching? Are they not really short? Or are they? No, you can do proper. TikTok, who binge watches TikTok? Oh, okay. Instagram? Yeah. Because there's no stopping, right? So it's unrestrained. Many, many moons ago, when Facebook first came, I know you guys are all too young for Facebook, there was one of the coders, writers, whatever, like the IT people behind it, introduced the scrolling. Did you know that? So you know how at the end of Google you'd have page 1 and then you have to actually press next for the next page? That's how it used to be on a lot of these things. But with Insta, Facebook, TikTok, there's no end. This is a smart guy. He's like, we can do this. We can get them addicted. Because you can just scroll forever and doom scrolling. And then there's overconsumerism, ensuring we get the next big thing. So I teach teenagers, and my teenagers all love the next iPhone. And when I ask them, what is the difference between this iPhone and the one that you have? It's number 16 Pro Max. Yes, but what is the difference? It's got a better camera. Is your camera bad? No. Look, I don't get it. But I want the next big thing. I want the next big thing. I want the next big thing. I have to get the new one. And they'll be looking at other people's phones. Oh, you got the new, blah, 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 blah. I'm sure you've got your own stories. For some people, it might be cars. For some people, it might be clothes. I don't know. What else do people overconsume? Nothing? No? I don't know. That's it. That's it. Clothes, cars, huh? Games. Ooh. Which ones? PUBG. That's the big thing among my boys at the moment. PUBG. Fortnite? Yeah, they prefer PUBG. Okay, so what I want you to do, you've got a little bit of work for you for a second. I want you to take note. So you can use your little notes on your phone, you can take note in your head, you can write it down somewhere. For you, what is the excess in your life? So what is the thing that you excessively give into? And I think that's what we need to work on. So for you guys, it might not be food. It might be that you're very moderate with food. It could be alcohol. It could be TV. It could be YouTube. It could be TikTok. It could be buying things. Shein. Yeah? Because it's cheap and cheerful, so you keep buying, you keep buying. Fast fashion, and how many times do you wear it before you buy something new? How many of you have bought new clothes in the past 3 weeks? Okay, 2 weeks. Yeah, okay, I'm not even going to keep going. Abuna, you're missing out. So, everybody please just think, what is your excess? What is the thing that you do that is actually becoming like the stomach in the story? Like it's beginning to actually control you. And it's very subtle sometimes. Very, very subtle. But I think you will know once you start looking in your life what it is. It could be, okay, I'm going to go for something that I think quite a few people do. How many of you, don't answer, just for yourself, when you send a text message and you keep checking for the answer and you keep checking if they've read it, and it's really annoying when you can't, and when they're online and then they haven't read your message. And it becomes like they haven't read my message, they've done it on purpose, they have done it on purpose. You check again in 5 minutes, they're still online. What are they doing? Why aren't they looking at my message? Then 10 minutes later, they're not online. And they still haven't read your message. So they've stopped doing what they're doing, but they haven't. Like, it's a big thing. It starts controlling. I've done it before where I sent something really important. It wasn't important at all, but it was important for me. I think I didn't sleep till 2 o'clock in the morning because I was I'd worked myself up so much and I was livid. And by the next morning, I was like, sorry. I was like, why didn't you? I don't know. I just didn't read it. I was like, what are you going to be mad at? I don't know. I didn't even know what to be mad at. But I worked myself up so much, and it became this. It became the stomach in this story. You know, I was not happy. I'd lost my contentment because of this excessive drive to know that somebody had looked at my message, or somebody had read my message, or had answered my message. They still never answered. So, for you, what is your excess? Okay, more. We live in a society which encourages us to be consumers. Did you know that you can buy illegal drugs online very easily? Did you know that you can buy Shein for like £2 or whatever? You pay more for delivery than the item sometimes. We are taught to consume all the time. Everywhere. I couldn't believe. How many of you go to like Joe and the Juice? Okay. How much is a sandwich in Joe and the Juice? That's like 10 quid. I think it's a bit less, like 9. I can't believe that. You can go down to the supermarket and get like a sandwich for £2.50. But they sell it somehow. It's a matcha, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what they do. But my kids, who don't even have a job yet, are like, yeah, we're going to get a sandwich from Joe and the Juice for 8 quid. Okay. It's an encouragement. So what is gluttony? It's saying, give me more, give me more, give me more, which businesses love. They're like, here, have more. We got more. You want more? Have it. I got more for you. I got more for you. We'll just keep giving you more. iPhone 16 Pro Max, iPhone 17, iPhone 100, iPhone whatever. We got it. That's when we should be saying enough. Actually, what I've got is fine. What I've got works. My car works. It doesn't have a sports engine or whatever else, but it works. It's fine. Gluttony says, no. Gluttony says, give me more. Give me more. So I've got this, which again you may disagree with. So at its core, gluttony is about not being satisfied. Because if you're satisfied, if you've got enough, then you stop, right? So what we're really saying is that if you are doing the excess and you're going for more and more, it means that you are unsatisfied, you are dissatisfied, you are not content. Would you agree with that? Is that okay? Yeah. Big assumption, but I think it's a true assumption. And this is, I think, where it really comes into play as against us as people, as against the people of God. Because that's not where God wants us to be. He doesn't want us to be dissatisfied. He wants us to be content, the content in all things, as it says in the Bible. But this is actually, I got this quote from an American pastor. So he teaches the Bible. And I love this because it's so true. He goes, why am I crushed when I can't sit next to an empty seat on an airplane? Airplane, sorry, because it's American. It's because I don't want to be satisfied with what everybody else has. Why do I want every vacation to go perfectly and feel personally hurt when things go awry? Because I'm not simply satisfied to be away with my family doing something fun. Oh, no. It always must be complication-free. It has to be perfect, yeah? Like your Instagram photos, yeah? The perfect sunset, the perfect whatever, the perfect this. I won't be satisfied with good. I always want better. Why, after I'm thanked and encouraged by people after preaching a sermon, do I wonder why somebody else or more people didn't do the same? Why was it only 2 people that came up to me? Why not 10? Why did they say it better to somebody else? And he says, because I'm a glutton. It's not just about food. I want better. I want more. I want the excess. Okay. They haven't asked me to give a talk in ages. That's, I want more. They haven't, these people haven't invited me to their party, or they invited me after they invited so-and-so. How many of you do that? Yeah? You're like, which order did you invite them? Which order would you put me on the group chat? When did you create the group chat? When, you're like, what number was I? This is gluttony. So, I want you to have a look at your Bibles. I want you to have a look at John 6. So open up John 6. And I've got this wonderful title for this slide, Food is a Gift from God. I love this title because I like food. So I'm glad it's a gift. So have a look at John 6. What is the story at the beginning of John 6? Just what is it? What's the title? What's the story? I haven't got my Bible in my hands. You're going to have to help me here. Sorry?
Feeding the 5,000.
Thank you. So feeding the 5,000. Okay, so feeding the 5,000, 5,000 people, or more even. And what happens? Christ gets what? 5 loaves? 5 loaves of bread? 2 fish? Yeah? And then what happens? Does he say, oh, do you know what? Can you just share that with the other person, please, because we haven't got enough. Actually, John, that's a bit too much, yeah? Yeah, don't have too much. No. You can't have all that, you've got to give. Did he say that? Did he tell the disciples to be a little bit stingy as they're giving it out? No? So what happened? He gave out? What did it say? What does it say? Everybody had what? Everybody had enough. Did it say everybody had more than enough? No. Everybody had enough. And then they took up leftovers. How many?
12 baskets.
12 baskets, and we have the icon there that shows how many people and then 12 baskets of leftovers. Did God give generously? Did Christ give generously? Yes. He wasn't saying just like, you can't have this much, you can't have that much. He was saying, have it. I've got loads of food. You can all eat. You can all have enough. There's so much that there's going to be leftovers. So much. Like leftovers everywhere. Because I am generous. Because I love giving you gifts. Because this is something that is a gift from me. In the desert, in the Israelites in the desert, when Moses was taken into the promised land, and they were hungry, who fed them? Who fed them?
God.
God fed them. Manna from heaven. Manna was sent down every day from heaven. I'm going to feed you, don't worry, I got you. And they still complained. And were they allowed to keep the manna for extra? Like get some extra for the next day just in case they wanted a midnight snack? No. Why? Because it was enough for that day. Next day, new manna. Just enough. Food is a gift from God, guys. It's not something that is given ungenerously. We'll stick with John 6 for a minute. What happened after that? So feeding of the 5,000, then what happened? Just scroll through, just have a little skim. What happened after that? The what? The storm? Yeah, then the storm. After the storm, what happened? Think of the people, so not the disciples. So yes, he spent some time with the disciples on the boat. After that. Before that. So just before that. So, okay, he takes the disciples out on the storm, and then they come back onto land. After they come back onto land, what do they find? Is there anybody there? Oh, okay, let me get my Bible out. I'll show you which verse. Yes.
The next day, the crowd that had stayed on the opposite shore of the lake realized that only one boat had been there and that Jesus had not entered it with his disciples, but that they had gone away alone.
Okay, so the crowd is there. The crowd, which crowd? The crowd that got fed the day before. Okay, so the crowd got fed the day before.
So I just wanted to say, if anyone wants to answer any questions or say anything, just put your hands up. I'll come to you with a microphone.
Thank you, Jesse. So there's a crowd. There's a crowd waiting, and they're looking for Jesus. And then what does Jesus say about them? Shall I just tell you? Because you. Yep. Okay, so Nabila's paraphrasing, but yes, you're following me. Why? Because I fed you yesterday. They're coming for free food, okay? This is the guy who fed us yesterday. It's the next day. There's free food, okay? We come to feast because there's free food downstairs in the evening. You'll find it fills up later as the food gets closer in time. There's free food. And then Christ says something where then he talks about himself being the bread of life. And I think it's really important to see that Jesus is saying, I don't want to just fill your stomachs. Okay? Filling your stomachs is the basic. That's that on the side. I want to fill you. I want to fill your spirit. I want to fill your souls. Your stomachs, I filled them yesterday, and today, what happened? They're empty again. Whereas I want to fill you. And he calls himself the bread of life. I am the bread of life. In another part of the Bible, he calls himself the water of life, so the drinking. So I am your bread, I am your water. You feed and drink. And then he worries a few people. Jesus starts talking about himself being the bread, and that you will eat of this bread. And then people are going, huh? What's he chatting about? Because this is just getting a bit weird. And then they leave him. So John 6, verse 66, I know it's a long chapter, but verse 66 says, from that time, many of his disciples went back and walked with him no more. The disciples at that time were not the 12 apostles. We're talking loads of people that followed him. And I'm just thinking, was it because their stomach was their God? They didn't want to be filled with spiritual stuff and being changed on the inside. They wanted some free food. And everything else seemed a little bit too much for them. Oh, hang on a sec. Did I go backwards? I had it upside down, sorry. So food is a gift from God. But what does sin do to this gift? What does sin do with most gifts? Sin takes a gift of God and puts in place of God himself. John, you said idol. So I don't want you, Christ, I just want the food. I don't want the marriage, I just want the sexual relationship. That's what sin does. It takes something that is a gift and it changes it and it makes it the idol. I'll come to something else. But I want to show you something. So, you are a blessing from God. You are unique and special. But when you love yourself more than anything else, that's sin. That's pride. Okay? Do you see how it's something that's from God, but we can twist it? Things are a blessing from God. Cars, houses, jobs. But when we're constantly looking, I want that car, I want that house, oh my goodness, that is so beautiful, I want that, that's amazing, then that's envy. Like, I want what they have, I want what she has, I want what he has. Rest is a blessing from God. But when all we want to do is rest, it becomes laziness. Sex is a blessing from God. But when we seek it outside marriage, it's lust. Sin takes blessings from God, and it says, that can be your idol. You can look up to that. That's okay. You can look up to yourself. You go. You do you. Don't think about other people. You don't need to do that. You're amazing. You're wonderful. I'm not saying any of that is not true, but it can be twisted. Don't think of other people. They've hurt you. You can hurt them back. It's okay. Okay. Don't open this verse. I'm going to show you one here. So we're going to have a look at a little verse in Philippians 3. And St. Paul, in one of the verses, says, "For, as I have often told you before, and now tell you again, even with tears, many live as enemies on the cross of Christ." Wow. He's like, I've got to tell you something. And I am in tears. It's so emotional for me. This is like so, I've got to tell you about these enemies. I'm like, what? And I've told you before. What enemies? What enemies? What? Who? Murderers? Adulterers? People persecuting the Christians? Who are these people who are enemies of the cross of Christ? Their destiny is destruction. Their God is what? Their stomach? These are the enemies? These are the enemies. Their God is their stomach, and whose glory is in their shame, who set their mind on earthly things. This is in the Bible. This is in Philippians. Philippians 3, like 18 to 19. This is how serious it was. Gluttony, actually in the Roman times it was like a big thing because you would show that you were really rich and really amazing if you ate loads and then, sorry to say, I hope nobody's had dinner, but vomited all up so that you could eat some more. It was a big thing in those days. Have a look, Roman Empire. But their destiny is destruction, whose God is their stomach. It's a big thing. And then it says, who set their mind on earthly things. So this is why I'm saying we can make it bigger than just food. We're just looking at things that we can consume. It's just things that we can have. Okay, well, we've said this already. But if you look to alcohol to fill you, your destiny is destruction. It can't save you. Their glory is in their shame. Isn't that how we treat drunkenness? But also with food. If we look to food to fill us, our destiny is also destruction. No idol is harmless. Each idol has something destructive about it. For example, you could be drinking for enjoyment. So are you drinking for enjoyment? Or are you drinking just to forget your problems and not face anything in your life? Same with food. Are you eating for, just to enjoy food, company with food, or are you trying to fill a void? So, I want to come to this. I love this picture. In all the Hollywood movies, what happens when the girl breaks up with the boy? or the boy breaks up with the girl, is she sits and eats ice cream and cries, yes? It's always ice cream. I don't know why it's ice cream. I would have chocolate biscuits myself, but ice cream it is. So usually it's not just about the food. We're trying to fill something. So things don't go away when we eat or when we drink or when we smoke or when we buy a car or when we get the house that we want or do whatever. It's not the thing that will get us. It's not the thing that fills us. What we crave is something deeper. I've put here, our spirits yearn to know that we are loved, that we are special. Our hearts long to be filled with forgiveness, with purpose, with knowing that we have a place in this world. We crave the bread of life. And if our spirits are fed, we'll find it easier not to overindulge our bodies. Because what happens is we fill this hole. So there's a hole, and we fill it with whatever we can find. We fill it with a car. We fill it with a good job. We fill it with looking good. We fill it with muscles. I'm not saying any of this is bad stuff. I'm saying it's good stuff. But it doesn't fill the void. It cannot be the idol. The only thing that can fill, as Pascal said many years ago, the only thing that can fill the hole is God, because it's a God-shaped hole, he calls it. So the God-shaped hole in our heart can only be filled with one thing, and that is God. So, another verse in the Bible, another St. Paul. He loves his food. I like the food. Whether you eat or drink, or whatever you do, do it all to the glory of God. How can we eat to the glory of God? How can we drink to the glory of God? He's not saying just work, because there's another verse where he says, work to the glory of God. Serve. We can serve to the glory of God, right? But how do we eat to the glory of God? What does that mean? I eat with a smile on my face. I eat when I don't like the food because my mum made it and it's really whatever. I don't know. What does that mean? And something that came to me was, it's for his glory. We're not the center of the universe. Do you have those friends, or maybe you are these people, I don't know, that like, if the food is not perfect, send it back. It's overdone, it's overcooked, it's too cold, it's too this. It's got to be perfect. I am the center of the universe. It's got to be amazing. It's got to be perfect. It's got to be wonderful. I'm paying a lot of money for this food. And we're not the center of the universe. Sorry, guys. You're not the center of the universe. I'm not the center of the universe either. Nor is Abuna. If we want to glorify God in what we eat, what we drink, enjoy it. Enjoy it. If I give you a present, and you open the present, and then you put it to the side, I feel really, not great. But if you open the present, you maybe give me a smile, like you're happy with the present, and you enjoy the present, I think it's great. How many people have cooked for other people in this room? Do you cook for others? Okay. Do you want them to like what you're cooking? You want them to enjoy it, right? You're not cooking to try and get the worst face out of them. You're cooking so that they enjoy it. And God wants us to enjoy the things that he's given us in this world and the things in this life. And yes, we can enjoy it because it's a gift, knowing that actually it's the giver of the gift that is the most important. So if Elijah cooks for me, what would you cook? You can't cook, can you? No? Jerk chicken. I like a bit jerk chicken. Not too spicy, though. Okay, so Elijah cooks jerk chicken, and I go over to his house, and I love the jerk chicken, okay? And I tell him, and then I say, what are you doing next week? And I want jerk chicken. And I go over the next week, and I eat jerk chicken. And the next week, and the next week, and the next week. What's Elijah going to think? He's like, she just wants my jerk chicken. Especially if I leave straight after eating. Like, we don't have a conversation. We're like, thanks, bye. See you next week. Like, I like the gift more than the giver. That's the difference. Like, we need to be looking at God. God is like, I'm going to give you all this food. I'm going to give you these beautiful trees in the Garden of Eden. I'm going to give you the 5 loaves and 2 fish and more of what's there. But you know what? It's not going to fill you. But come and chat to me. Come and chat to me after you've eaten, while you're eating, before you eat. Thank me. Talk to me. We can't find happiness anywhere else. We can't find, okay, let me say that again. We can't find joy anywhere else. We can find happiness in lots of places, but it's fleeting. It will come and it will go. Yeah? Your friends eventually will let you down. At one point, I mean, I'm not saying always, but we let ourselves down too. Like, we all have let people down. I've let people down. They've let me down. I'm not saying we're not friends anymore, but we have to accept that's part of life. Things are not perfect. My car will let me down. My Hoover will let me down. I don't know, whatever else will let me down. So the happiness is fleeting, but joy is not fleeting. So I didn't know where to put this slide, so I'm going to just say it really quickly, because I'm not sure. Anyway, I just thought more consequences. Gluttony takes us away from God. That time that we use overindulging in whatever it is, and I'm not just talking about food, but YouTube, TikTok, who said TikTok, whatever else, overindulging, like to the excess, remember? Like it's too much. That time takes away from God. We take away from being in his word, from reading, from that alone time, the quiet time. And then I love this middle one. We want to live like kings. You know, I want to live like a glutton. I want to live with everything and a massive house and massive car and 10 servants and a robot Hoover. It's my dream at the moment. Instead of living like the King of Kings. That's what he wants us to be. He's like, be holy as I am holy. I want you to live like me, the King of Kings. Also, something about gluttony, which Jesse touched on earlier. We don't look at others. So when we live life to excess, the excess, we don't always look at what others are not having, like what they haven't got. And I've got here by gorging, we may leave needy people hungry. We know that in this world, I don't know the statistics exactly, but I think it's something like the top 1% of the population, or is it 1 or 10% of the population has like 90% of the resources. It's horrible. This is not good. This is not good at all. And we're living like this, and it's fine. It's fine. We live in the West. It's okay. It's not okay. Not okay at all. Happy things. So, how do we get over this? So, the first verse I got up there, very, very important. So, this is something that we can learn to do. I have the right to do anything you say, but not everything you say, but not everything is beneficial. I have the right to do anything, but I will not be mastered by anything. So, this is all the stuff that we've said before. You were saying about addictions before and unhealthy eating. I have the right to go to McDonald's every single day. Do you remember the guy who did the supersize? I don't know if do you remember that experiment? Was it 3 months? 3 months or something? Every time, I don't know if you know it, but he would go to McDonald's every single day and only eat McDonald's. And if they said, do you want to supersize this? He'd have to say yes. This was an experiment. And after 3 months, he was very sick. Very, very sick. Yeah, it was not good. Not a good experiment at all, but he did it for, he's some scientist, whatever. So not everything is beneficial. And then I have the right to do anything. You can eat as much as you like. You can buy the next iPhones. You can buy Shein every single day, twice a day, 3 times a day. But not be mastered by anything. Don't make it the master. If you feel that it's becoming an addiction, that it's mastering you, that you cannot stop. Not even as far as an addiction, but even before that. Like if it's got to addiction, that's already too far. But if it's already excessive, that's when you need to bring this into play. A bit of self-control. And then he says again, food for the stomach, not the stomach. Food for the stomach and the stomach for food. And God will destroy them both. Oh, great. This food is gone in a day. That thing that you ordered, that you loved, that you cooked hours, it's gone. Next day. But then right at the end, the very last verse there, by his power, God raised the Lord from the dead, and he will raise us also. So what did I say about self-control? It's one of the
fruits of the Spirit.
Thank you. It's one of the fruits of the Spirit. The booming voice. It's one of the fruits of the Spirit. We have the Spirit inside us, okay? That is a promise in the Bible. Whether or not we feel, whether or not we believe and know that the Spirit is there in its fullness. The Spirit is in us. We have his Spirit. Whether or not we listen to the Spirit, care about the Spirit, acknowledge the Spirit's presence, that's something different. But we have the Spirit of God. And we can be raised. We can have the fruit of self-control. It might not come in a second, but it's there, and the power is there. Okay, so that's the first thing to counteract the gluttony. Then I've got to know God is to trust him. The more we pursue the knowledge of the giver, so like Elijah, not the jerk chicken, the less we will abuse his gifts. Maybe I start with the chicken, and then actually I realize I quite like having a conversation for 10 minutes afterwards. Maybe the next week I stay for 20 minutes after I have dinner. Maybe I actually realize that I want to know the giver. And the less I'll abuse then the chicken. So David who spent long nights completely alone looking after sheep on a hill, away from his family, away from friends, on his own completely. Just a sheep. All eyes look to you, and you give them their food in due time. You open your hand and satisfy the desire of every living thing. Satisfy the desire. That's a really strong thing to say. Like, how many of us have unsatisfied desires? I think everybody in the room probably. If you don't, come and see me, please. Tell me what you're doing. He can satisfy every desire. He's not saying that everything is good. My desire for the new Lexus, blah, 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 whatever, might not be the right thing, but maybe he can satisfy that desire with something else, with himself, with a better car, a cheaper car. And David said multiple times, the Lord is my portion. The Lord is my portion forever. He is the one that is delicious. He's tasty. So we're going back to food again. Taste and see that the Lord is good. Happy is the man who takes refuge in him. And we read one of the Psalms, even in the prayer before, that was saying that. Taste and see that the Lord is good. So go to the source. So our belief system needs to change. When we're being gluttonous, it's about me, and as much as I can get, and more, and more, and more, and more. And then it's gone, so the next day I need more and more and more, and then the next day I need more and more and more. But when Christ's love compels us, we no longer live for ourselves, but for God's glory. What do I mean by that? I mean, if Christ died for me, I'm able to die to myself. I'm able to say no to some things. I have that power. I don't always want to use that power. I don't want to admit that I have that power. No, I have a really weak will. Oh, no, I can't do this. Oh, woe is me. No, come on, guys. You can. You can. You can have a weak will, and you can get some help. You can say, John, can you just be next to me when I'm in McDonald's so I don't get the supersize, you know? Can you do this? Can you do that? Whatever it is that you can do, you can do. If Christ was able to die for you, you can die to that little bit of yourself that wants the new iPhone 16. Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry if you love iPhones. I'm really sorry. I'm Samsung, so I'm very biased. So gluttony is not just a belief problem. It's not just an eating problem. It's a belief problem. We disbelieve our way into overeating. So we have to believe our way out. You can change. And the giver is so much more satisfying than the gift. So, my last slide. And that was my joke. Takeaways, sorry. Sorry. Okay. So practice regular fasting. In our church, we have loads of fasts. But actually, practicing regular fasting really helps. And the world has woken up to this. The world is like, oh yeah, intermittent fasting, and you do it every month, and you choose a day, and for your age, you've got to do it from midnight to this time, or for this, whatever. Who does intermittent fasting, by the way? Does anybody? Yeah? A couple of people? Oh, not many. Okay. At work is a big thing at the moment. So regular fasting helps us to not make this our God. Yeah? And you actually have to think about what's going in your mouth. So when you think about what's going in your mouth, let's also think about what's going into our brains. Let's think about the excessive doom scrolling and the excessive TikTok and the excessive binge watching. Practice self-denial. If anyone would come after me, let him deny himself. It can be in the smallest things. So I was preparing this talk, and then I was driving here, and I was like, okay, I'm going to let in this car, Lord. It's like, please don't let him let in another car in front of him. And he did. I was like, okay, all right. But again, the little things, self-denial. It's like, okay, I can handle this. And then glorifying God in our bodies. I didn't touch on this in the talk, but our bodies are our temples. Our bodies are a gift from God as well. This is a gift. Whether we like it or not, whether we're completely happy with it or not, my nose, my eyes, my whatever, Egyptian hair. But it's a gift. It's a gift, and the obligation, I should look after it. I should make sure that I'm not sticking stuff in there that is going to ruin my heart, lungs, liver, cholesterol, whatever, all the time. And I don't think as humans we're the best at this. Even priests, how many hours do you sleep, Abuna? Yeah, like 4 hours a night? That's not good for him. I know the reason is good, but I'm happy to tell him off and tell him to sleep some more because he needs to look after his body. And then this one, which David found. See God as the source of your joy and your comfort. Don't look for comfort in your ice cream when you've had a breakup. You don't need to look for joy in the new car that you want or whatever. Look for joy and comfort with the source, with the giver. Just think of the jerk chicken. Yeah? The jerk chicken is not the whole thing. The cook, the one who gives the present, is the main thing. And that's all I have to say. Any questions? Any comments? Abuna, I'm sure, has a story. But
Questions, please.
yeah.
I think for us all, we have to realize from the outset that Jesus said, whoever drinks from this water to the Samaritan woman will thirst again. But whoever drinks from the water I give will not thirst, but the water will flow from him as a fountain of eternal life. Whatever the world gives us or trying to persuade us, it is precious. If it's money, if it's power, if it's food, if it's whatever it is, we will thirst again if we drink from it. We will always thirst again. We will not find satisfaction unless we really surrender to him. Yeah, so it's important.
Can I add something to that? Yeah. So the fact that she left her water behind anyway. So she left the jug, she left everything. Yeah. And it makes me think, are there times where, I'm sure you've had times in your life where you've forgotten to eat or drink because you're doing something so filling, like it's really amazing. It could be anything. It could be something at work. It could be something at service. It could be that you're having a great conversation with somebody. And, this is coming from me. I don't forget to eat. Okay, never. But there are times when it's like, oh, wow, I've enjoyed this time more, so much more than if I'd left and gone to, get a sandwich. 100%. Because, yeah, it's so filling.
It's a question, like, I always feel like we usually go to the liturgy and get the Holy Communion if we're talking about food, so like we're getting spiritual food, but sometimes I feel like I don't feel any change. Like I get the Holy Communion, I'm supposed to be given like God Himself into me, but like I don't feel the difference. Like how should I like feel the greatness of this Holy Communion?
I think that's an Abuna question. But also, can I just say that feelings are overrated? My feelings about that person not replying to the text message, it was all in my head. It's just my feelings. But
Strange, because I received this question earlier, just before the meeting, so maybe God wants me to answer it anyway. How do we live with God? Do we live with feelings? Do we live with feelings? Should we live with feelings? So when I'm really happy, hallelujah, God, thank you. When I'm really down, God, it's not your time now. I need someone else. My feelings go up and down. That's my human nature. God is constant. So what is the one thing that I should always live with God by? It also starts with an F. Thank you. Faith. Faith. How does St. Paul define faith? What is the Bible reference? It has 3 ones. Sorry? No, the definition of faith. What does faith mean? How does St. Paul define faith in the Bible? Hebrews 11:1. Can you remember this? Hebrews 11:1. Can somebody get it for us? Hebrews 11:1. And I would like someone to read it for us, please. Hebrews 11:1. Any Christian in the house who has a Bible? Please. Okay. There we go. Can you read it for us, Mariam?
Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
Can you repeat that again, please?
Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
Thank you. Which translation is that?
NKJV.
NKJV. Can you read it in NIV as well, please? So it just hits home as well.
Now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see.
Does that make more sense? Is the confidence in what we hope for and assurance of what we do not see. Are there trees? Do trees exist? Yes? You're sure of that? Can you see trees now? So, but you're sure they're trees. Okay? Is that the body and blood of Christ that I take? Do you see it as body and blood? Do you see it as body and blood? No. Does it taste as body and blood? No. But I'm sure it's body and blood. Why? Because it's a mystery and it's biblical. Our Lord Jesus Christ Himself said, every time you eat of this blood, of this body, and you drink of this blood, that's my body and my blood. Every time you eat, every time was continuous, not only a one-off. So, when I approach the Holy Communion, it is not about the Holy Communion being the body and blood. They are the body and blood. But it's who's the problem with? Me. How am I actually approaching it? Am I approaching it in full faith that this is the body and blood? Have I actually taken the journey of the liturgy seriously? Or was I daydreaming and gazing off and looking on my mobile and social media and Abuna's too long and many OOOs by the deacons and all of these lovely things that we go through in the liturgy? Right? It's how serious we take these things, how serious that we take them. The more I'm serious about it and I use my faith, the more I will feel this is God and I'm connecting with God. Okay? The more I keep on struggle because I want to feel something, we do not work with feelings, because my feelings could be up one day, down one day, and that does not work with God. It works with faith. Just like the example of, do we have faith that trees exist? Yes. But we can't see them? Yes. And I gave an example earlier. When anybody has anemia, what will they need to take? Any doctors in the house? If somebody's anemic, what do they need to take? Iron, right? They come in the form of what? Tablets, okay? When you have the tablet, what does it look like? A tablet. What does it taste like? Medicine. Do you taste any iron in it? But you're sure that it has iron in it, right? Let us be sure that this is the body and blood of Christ, because he himself has promised us it is. Okay? Now, the feeling is something that I need to work on through my faith. How strong is my faith in him? How strong have I worked on myself approaching him? How serious am I taking these steps as I come? How serious am I about coming to the liturgy? How serious am I about my relationship with him? There's a lot of things before that, not just coming to approach and having the body and blood of Christ. I said this before. I have prayed at least over 2,000 liturgies in my life as a deacon. And I've only been ordained a priest for a year and a half. I can never put in words what I experience standing before the Lord during the prayer of the liturgy. I cannot put it in words. Okay? And it's not feelings. It is something I experience. So how do you come before him willing to experience him? Does that answer? Yes.
Thank you. I think just to add to what Abuna said, sometimes we come to the liturgy thinking that I will go out totally different from when I went in terms of a lot of things changed in me. But it's important when we come to the liturgy, we focus on one thing that I have repented for and ask God to change, give me victory over this one thing. And then the next liturgy, something else. And the next liturgy, something else. So God works on us gradually. And then the more, as Abuna said, we surrender to him in this area in my life, and then ask him to work on me, then that change happened in that area in my life. And then sometimes we ignore the spiritual life altogether and expect to come to the altar and live with the life of Christ. But if I work on myself on one thing each liturgy, we can see the change happening gradually until we become to the image of God again. Okay. Thanks you.
Any other difficult questions for Eman? Okay. It was a difficult talk. I have to say, you did really well. You did really well. Well done, Eman. Thank you so much once again. So Eman knows me. She says, Abuna definitely will say a story. I was trying hard to resist it. Maybe it's a gluttony that I have of telling stories. I don't know. But before I tell a story, let me ask you a question. Let's assume the following scenario. There is a tree that bears gold fruits. Gold, full gold. Okay? And I will give you all an offer each. Take 1 million golden fruits, do whatever you want with it, or take the tree. What will you choose? The tree. Anybody will take the 1 million golden fruits? Anybody? You'll take the 1 million golden fruits? Why? Huh? Probably. You can't guarantee that the tree will give you more fruit. Okay? That's one way of looking at it. Yeah, the fruits are there, but if I take the tree, it might not bear more fruits, right? Smart. Somebody will take the tree because it will give you much more than the 1 million. Maybe I just need a lot more. Oh, I can grow the 1 million, through the 1 million fruits, I can grow 1 million trees. Excellent. Okay, that's even someone who's really thinking outside the box. Well done. For those who said, like, show of hands, how many will take the tree? Okay, let's say half of us. And how many will take the fruit? The other half are content with what they have. They do not need the fruit or the tree. Okay, that's fine. Fine. They definitely benefited from Eman's talk, and gluttony is out the window. They're just focusing on themselves. For those who said they're going to take the tree, are you taking the tree for its fruits or because you love the tree? Why would you love the tree? Because, as Eman was saying, we want the gifts, not the giver. We take the gifts, and we want the gifts, but we don't want the giver. And that's why when we look at our Lord Jesus Christ, how do we look at him? As somebody who gives me the golden fruits, okay? And if I want him for the golden fruits, or I don't want him and I just want the golden fruits, or I want him regardless of the golden fruits. He gives me golden fruits, happy. He takes them away, happy. There is no golden fruits, happy. This is for you to define with your relationship with God. And the reason why I asked this question is because of the story. So I had a friend in university, and I studied in the American University in Cairo. And this guy, he was a Christian, and he loved girls. Just, I cannot put it in any other way. Like, he loved girls, okay? So, and he was really good at it. Like, he would have like 7, 8 girlfriends all at the same time. None of them knew that he was in a relationship with the other, okay? And for some reason, he would come and tell me, I don't know why, he would come and tell me, look, I'm with this girl, and I'm with this girl. And I keep on telling him, like, why? He said, this one is tall, this one is short, this one is like, and this one is blonde, this one is brunette. He just wanted, everything, and he wanted to have all of the girls. Later on, as time passed by, he came and he introduced me to a girl. This is after university. And he introduced me to a girl and he said, I'm getting married. Told him, to her only or another 6, 7, just to make sure, how many weddings will I attend for you? Just to prepare myself. I said, no, this is the one. I told him, are you sure? He said, I'm 100% sure. I told him, are you in any other relationship? He said, I'm cutting them all off. So you're still in, yeah, but I'm cutting them all off. Okay, Habibi, when you cut them all off, come and tell me. So, fast forward, he got married, he invited me to the wedding, and he had the wedding, and then he went on his honeymoon, and it was like after they finished the wedding, it was like a party all night, then they got on a plane, they traveled, I think they went to Russia for their honeymoon, I don't know why, but anyway, they went to Russia, and there they arrived, of course, dead, so they dropped their bags in the room. She went to sleep. He felt a little bit restless. He went down to relax in the sauna. There was another lovely lady in the sauna. He chatted. He got to know her, and he fell in adultery with this lady before even he had, enjoyed the gift of intimacy with his wife. Really bad. You see how you all reacted? Really bad. Why am I telling you this story? And I know, Abuna, this is disgusting. What are you telling us here? I'm telling you the story because gluttony that Eman was talking about is because there is an unlimited desire that I want to fulfill, and I cannot control it. I have this unlimited void that I just want to keep on filling in. Is it food? Fill with food. Is it lust? Fill with lust. Is it possessions? Fill with possessions. Is it pride? Fill with pride. And it's unlimited, and it never ends. Who is the only unlimited that can fill this unlimited desire? Only God. He's the only unlimited that can match and is more than my unlimited desires of whatever that is. When Eman was saying you have this God-shaped piece in your heart that you need to fill in, you know how your heart is shaped? It has, maybe a doctor will explain it, but it has 2 ventricles and 2 atriums. Ventricles and atriums? Atriums, ventricles. Okay, so there's 4 chambers. Cut the story short, okay? 4 chambers. This is medical terms, I don't care about them. But each 2 open up to each other, correct? So the top and bottom of the left open up, the top and bottom of the right. The atrium and the ventrium open up, and so on the left. This is what you have to choose. Inside of your heart is, in one of the quadrants is God, and the other is yourself, your desires. And in the other there is a throne and there's a cross. You put yourself on the throne. Who have you just put on the cross? God in you. You put yourself on the cross. Who have you put on the throne? God in you. And this is your choice. How do you want to fill these unlimited desires except through the unlimited God? That's you. And that's the question that you have to ask yourself. Okay? Make sense? So quick announcements. Tomorrow we have movie night, The Chosen, season